Welcome back to the desk, folks. We're here for our second match of the afternoon. And just so y'all know, I had a wonderful sleep. It's just, you try wearing headsets every single day of your life. My name's F. That's Anatoly. We're going to get into our next matchup. It's Allegiance. They're going to start things off. But first, why don't we talk about some things that you guys at home can take advantage of. 50% off all Chinese skins and voice packs between September 14th through the 16th. So you can see, be the man and make use of that Wukong voice pack, the Hobwa voice pack. What Chang'e skin is that?
I don't know, but I definitely like it. I'm definitely picking this up
I want
after
that
this game
Chang'e
right
skin.
away.
Well, you get 50% off.
I'm taking advantage.
You only get 3 gems a week, right?
That's right. I have to. Otherwise, I'm screwed, right?
That's what I'm saying. Oh, wait, you got to raise to 5 gems a week.
That was the goal right there.
Yeah,
I did my job, right? I got the goal.
I'm still rocking my 10 gems. Thank you very much.
I'll catch up soon enough.
About to buy myself a vehicle. We're about to buy ourselves a match. Team Allegiance versus EnVy. I love this matchup. I think these two teams are very evenly matched. They are, it's interesting.
It's going to be a nice match because the history between these two teams. You got Kiki and CycloneSpin on one side, and then you got Wukong and Incon on the other. Just the history. There's a lot of mind games between these players. They know each other's styles and tendencies.
And also just the level of play that these guys have are even. I think these are equally matched teams, as well as sort of said, you said the history with respect to the players, but history with respect to the talent has also sort of ramped up. Allegiance started at a certain point and have elevated. EnVy started at a certain point and have elevated. These guys are different play styles, but all right, bear with me. This is a deep one. They're like 2 different hot sauces that are different flavors, but the same level of heat.
So you can mix them up and then go for a really wild journey. Is that what you're telling me? That's what we're going to have right now.
Actually, you know what? I take back my move. Yeah,
we're going to have
that.
a really good set between these two teams.
Absolutely.
Like, they both started off slow, like we were talking about, but then the last couple of sets that these two teams were doing, we have 10 points on Allegiance already, and then 6 on the side of EnVyUs, getting ready to try to overtake Eager that's 1 spot ahead of them.
I think you're looking at PolarBearMike really settling into a position of leadership. I have been asking for and wanting this since I think last year when he started at Randozzo's. I was excited. I said, hey, PBM's going to lead this team. He's going to learn to be a leader. PolarBearMike is an intelligent guy. He's got a couple of flaws, but that's what we all do, and he's going to learn through the SPL. That's why I wanted him to start on that Randozzo squad, and he shied away. He wasn't really there. EnVy, though, he's got a couple more tools at his disposal. I like to see PolarBearMike and his growth into what could be one of the best leaders the SPL has ever seen.
It's not just PolarBearMike, though. It's Skeeledon on top of this with respect to trying to have leadership with such veterans of CycloneSpin and Kiki on board. You have a great hunter, Oceans, that's going to be able to do his own thing. You leave him alone, and you're looking for the team fights in mid lane. So overall, EnVy has been growing. They've been finding their identity as the season progressed.
And somebody you brought up, very important, that, Skeeledon is actually playing the game. A lot of us, me and Adonis specifically, were very high on Skeeledon coming into the league. We've seen him play elsewhere. We're like, hey, watch out for Skeeledon, watch out for Skeeledon. And then everybody laughed as we were completely incorrect, and he just couldn't do anything in the Pro League until the last couple of weeks, really stepping into it. EnVy going to ban out Giannis and Susano. Don't want to let Allegiance's mid lane MLC Stealth have that Giannis whatsoever. Susano also going to be banned out. Wukong and Soul taken away by Allegiance, which leaves Terra open for PolarBearMike.
Great target bans from EnVyUs. We saw what MLC Stealth was able to do against Soar Gaming, that first game of their set, able to find the snipe onto Mad Yankee. Ever since that point in time, you cannot let him get that god. And then banning out Susano on Weekend. We've seen the things that he can do on it.
Exactly, so not going to be an option. Guan and Jing could be a dual lane, could be an option for Cope. I mean, hell, it could also be an option for Weekend, to be completely honest with you. Don't forget, Weekend brought out the Athena jungle. Weekend has one of the most eclectic god pools in the game, I would say. Hoagie selected next to Terra for EnVyUs, and the final selection for EnVy here in the first round of picks. Still awaiting.
Like you were mentioning about Allegiance's picks and bans, they're very flexible with their style. We saw the Athena being picked up by Weekend that was able to deal with the double assassin composition from Soar, and that's a lot of strength for them already. Going to his more natural comfort pick of the Kukulkan for stealth, this allows Allegiance a lot of room because Incon more than likely going to play the Guan. He's going to want to play aggressive, which gives MLC Stealth a lot of space for his abilities.
Allegiance going to ban out the Circuit away from Skeeledon, character that Skeeledon has always enjoyed playing. Weekend's enjoyed playing him as well, though. Excuse me. So something to think about there. EnVy say no to the Amaterasu. So EnVy think that that's going to be a support Guan Yu. Allegiance say no to the Nemesis, and then the final ban coming out for the match. It belongs to EnVy. They've got a number of seconds to think about it, but they'll just flat out ban the Athena.
It's going to be the flex pick option taken away from Allegiance, because between Guan Yu and Athena, that could be support, jungle, and soul, and you never know between Cope, Incon, and Weekend specifically.
And I mean, Kiki has actually played Athena in the mid lane.
Yes, he
has. And he will.
Back in the AFK days, he was also playing Fenrir in mid lane. A lot of flexibility with those guys.
Like we said, the eclectic god pool out of Weekend going to bring Mercury into the game. The jungle Mercury. This was a god that I think Weekend made his name on way back when. Obviously, the Surcat made his way into the logo and everything, but Weekend, Mercury go hand in hand. He's going to try and bring him. He's going to force him back into the meta this time around. 2 animals selected for EnVy to finish out their draft. It'll be the Fenrir and the King of the Monkeys, Sun Wukong.
I like the initiation for EnVy already with Fenrir, Sun Wukong, and Terra, with Hu Yi and Nuwa to follow up. However, Allegiance, though, with that last pick, Ymir, I was about to say that they don't have much style to go in first. With the Guan Yu and Mercury is very vulnerable to go in, but with this Ymir, it's going to be a nice option. You're going to shut down the Brutalize with the freeze, and you're going to control a lot of space with that ultimate, allowing Stealth in the backline to just do stealth things.
In all honesty, the only 2 people I'm confirmed that Kukulkan belongs to Stealth and Jing belongs to Venenu. Guan can wind up in 3 positions, Mercury can wind up in 3 positions, and Ymir can honestly do the same. So realistically, I think we'll see the Weekend on the Mercury. EnVy have pretty straight up and down roster as far as they're concerned. Cyclone on the monkey, Skeeledon on the dog, and then everybody else right down the middle. But Cope is going to play the solo lane Ymir. We'll see the support Incon play the Guan Yu, and then, like I said, Mercury winds up in the jungle.
They're trying to go for an early first blood. I like the idea having we can find the initial pull, and then maybe Cope will follow up with a nice freeze to allow everybody else to get off the damage. But no one was biting on the side of EnVyUs. They were grouped up around the soul lane, expecting the rotation there instead.
Still like the shot. Just give it a shot.
They also had the creeping curse onto Incon to allow more flexibility with that first pick potential, but nothing to start off for either side. Just going to be normal starts between Speed and Blue, and Mercury definitely beneficial with that speed buff.
Yeah, I mean, the speed buff going to work into the Weekend, to the Mercury passive, excuse me. You can see the start coming out. Nothing crazy. We don't see the sprint start out from Weekend here on the Mercury, mainly because of the Fenrir. Needs the beads, or the purification, excuse me, to really get out of that. Man, we see a normal start here. A lot of times I kind of get stuck in the old words. I called Winged Blade Winged Wand the other day.
Oh boy,
I got destroyed by the fans.
That's bringing it really old school with a Winged Wand, yeah. But either way, Kiki versus Stealth in the mid lane. New Wa was normally a very common pick back in the days with old Wa, but now a lot of teams have a success with the new Wa. I think it's like 6 and 7 in the week number 3.
Yeah, well, the new Wa's a character that you don't want to dive her, right? Because she's not necessarily safe in the sense that you could be sitting in the middle of the mid lane, right side elementals go to Allegiance, still also on the Harpies. You're not gonna, you can get picked, you can get ganked, but when you're sitting on your tower, you don't want to get dove because she's able to ultimate out of whatever sort of pressure you're trying to put out. There's pressure from Skeeledon. It's gonna get turned around though. Tons of damage onto the Fenrir, still looking for the kill, and it'll be there. Kiki finds it, and a stun onto MLC Stealth. Excellently played by Kiki to save the life and give credit to the aggression out of his jungler.
Skeeledon recognized that Weekend and Stealth right now doesn't have the damage they need to find the kills. Despite Skeeledon being rather low, he baited himself on purpose because he trusted that Kiki would follow up, and the brutalized damage at this point has one of the highest base damages for any jungler.
Trouble on the left side for Venenu. He'll be fine though. You know, honestly, I don't know how much of that was trust and how much of that was just Kiki picking up the pieces. I think Skeeledon just sort of went in and Kiki said, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta save my jungler. I always talk about the fine line between reckless and aggressive. I think that was reckless. Kiki made it pay off, so we see aggressive.
Well, the thing was, Stealth used his tornado in the mid-wave, so therefore he couldn't really follow up off of Weekend's dash. So immediately after, Skeeledon doing a great job. He was going to be able to outpoke Weekend even if he didn't find the kill, which would have set up a potential back left Harpy invade. but finding that first blood is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's even better. 500 gold in the pockets of Envy, just like that, very quickly. Envy off to a great start. More specifically, Skeeledon off to a great start. The kill goes to Kiki, but very important to see Skeeledon get this early start onto Fenrir.
And we didn't talk about the solo lane matchup between Cope and CycloneSpin. We've seen a lot of success with CycloneSpin once he starts rotating to these team fights, and that's going to be very important for EnVyUs moving forward. But Cope has been holding his own so far. He hit level 5 first.
And on the Ymir, he's got a decent amount of clear, a lot of control, obviously. There's, again, aggression on the weekend. The dash going to be followed by the Brutalize, and the ultimate could be enough to confirm. Won't be. But you can see CycloneSpin following. Skeeledon able to find the kill out of the tower, and CycloneSpin going to defend the jungler this time around.
The rotation from Cope, though, is going to force out the ultimate from CycloneSpin. Going to regen, go back behind Kiki, no problem. Speed and Blue are respawning, and that's going to be a second death for Weekend on the Mercury. That's a god that really struggles when he's behind. He needs to get his items online just to do any sort of damage.
Yeah, Mercury, one of the more item-dependent characters. Once he gets that critical strike online, really very scary, but until then, kind of just all right. This red buff invade just forced by Envy.
They don't have to worry about the ultimate from stealth, and this is the reasoning that they're aggressing. A nice stun out to Venenu, finding the secure on the red, and the beautiful part about this is they're not committing to picking it up, they're just disengaging.
And you can see the Terra ultimate brought just to help the disengage, just movement speed, allowing his team to sort of get out of there.
They also have to worry about Weekend's ultimate. He is level 5, so from a distance, you never really know where that Mercury is going to angle it. If you're all grouped up around one lane, around, like, let's say, left side mid-Harpies retreating there, that one ultimate can win a team fight.
One of the big things that we didn't mention in picks and bans, but we got to see Weekend take it, or Skeeledon take advantage of. Hold that. Weekend comes in with the ultimate, gonna hit out Skeeledon. Purification used. Skeeledon's Brutalize is going to follow Weekend through the dash.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest things in this matchup here in the jungle. That's why Weekend died the second time, and partially why he died the first time.
And that's why immediately Skeeledon picked the Fenrir into the Mercury. It was a great, solid counter pick matchup. I would have liked to see Allegiance try to go on some Wukong since his ultimate was down, but trying to still be aggressive onto Kiki. He's going to use the Purification, and now he has no Purification.
Oh, miscommunication there. The ultimate doesn't matter. Skeeledon's still able to find the kill onto Weekend. See MLC Stealth trying to get away and help out the teammate, but not going to hit Skeeledon there.
That's so unfortunate. He didn't respect the cooldown timer of the Ragnarok, not having any sort of defensive way out, finding his third death, and Allegiance really need to slow down the pace. They cannot be forcing these team fights any longer.
One of the things that I was really excited about coming into this match for Allegiance was how hot Weekend has been. He's been on a tear. We saw two of the better games we've seen out of him recently last time around, and this time just 3 deaths in 5 minutes. Absolutely. He's every single death that Envy has right now. Or that Allegiance has right now. It's a rough start for him.
Skeeledon 600 gold ahead of him at the 5-minute mark, and that's going to allow him to finish Void Shield really early, whereas we look at Weekend's build, probably going to be the Winged Blade trying to get more mobility. Could be Fatalis, possibly.
I was looking at it kind of funny. I don't know if it's going to be the Fatalis.
But either way, there's still going to be more defense on the side of Skeeledon, and he has enough base power and damage on his abilities to just absolutely shred Weekend if he's isolated.
Yeah, Skeeledon going to be building into the Void Shield most likely. Just a ton of everything Skeeledon wants. Void Shield, such a potent item.
That's what you really want to do to also help out CycloneSpin once he starts rotating to these team fights. Going to poke out a little bit onto the Guan, but nothing really going to come out of it. They're going to rotate towards the left-hand side. We haven't really seen much action between these hunters.
Not just yet. It's a little bit early on. I mean, both the Hou-Yi and the Jingwei. I guess Jingwei does like to start things a little bit earlier than the Hou-Yi. Hou-Yi, a more traditional late-game oriented hunter, but still. Skeeledon waiting for his opportunity here in the mid lane. As soon as somebody from Allegiance goes up too far, you're going to see the dog jump in. Doesn't get the stun, but still looking for damage on the Incon. Ragnarok's there, and he drops right on down. Answered back. Beautiful setup by Weekend for the MLC right down the middle, hitting 3 players with the ultimate. That's 2 deaths off of 1 setup. Allegiance able to jump right back into the game.
That's what we were talking about, that one ultimate to set up MLC Stealth. A beautiful 2-man ultimate by Weekend, 3-man ultimate by Stealth finding it, and Allegiance able to secure themselves a Gold Fury off of those 2 picks.
And it'll tie the game completely. CycloneSpin going to rotate back on in, trapped out by Cope, but no follow-up Cope's just showing what he can do.
And that's so important for Allegiance to find those picks because it was looking really bad for them the way they were starting off the game. If they didn't, like, I like the idea that EnVyUs had. They waited for Stealth to drop the tornado, and then they had Skeeledon jump over the wall. But not having the initial engage with his primary jump hurt their damage overall, I would say.
Yeah, and Skeeledon not finding that stun is certainly hurting. You know, and just for conversation's sake, I like the fact that that fight went the way of Allegiance in the way that it did. They used their odd picks. If you're going to pick Kukulkan, if you're going to pick Mercury, you got to play that god, right? Otherwise, you just, when you wind up losing and in bad spots because of the, there's a reason those gods aren't as popular as some of the others. So the weakened setup into the damage ultimate out of MLC Stealth, that was a Mercury setup for a Kukulkan ultimate, not just damage. I like the way that they used those specific characters.
These abilities are not the easiest to hit. There's a lot of trust right now between Weaken and Stealth just to be able to land it, because even if you find the initial pull, you have to target it towards your mid laner to get the guaranteed ult.
Weaken able to dash away, and the Ragnarok not going to find a target just yet.
It's just going to be Incon disengaging, but Weaken finding a nice little stun onto PolarBearMike, but the Terra ultimate is going to deter. And there's a lot of rotations now from these squads. They're trying to find their pick, but with CycloneSpin and Cope in the mix, it makes it really hard with their space control.
Yeah, much ado about nothing. Bunch of players hitting their buttons. Nothing really happens on the right side. The mid Harpies go down. Hooray. I really expected a lot more damage there, but everybody able to wiggle their way out of problems. Not too big of a deal.
It seems though Venenu is able to get a slight edge over Ocean, still one level ahead now,
Jing
able to steal the boards. And this is going to be interesting to see because Venenu has more rotations with the global passive that he has. So not only is he out, he's winning at this stage, he's going to be able to continue the farm, continuously getting those back Harpies.
So here we have Allegiance to the right side of the jungle. Weaken looking for Cope's own blue buff. Just going to secure this out of fear almost. Envy with Skeeledon haven't pulled the trigger on any of these invades, and I kind of expected them to be a little bit more aggressive here, but instead Allegiance just going to be able to look towards their own jungle.
That was a strategy EnVyUs could have experimented with, trying to go for a speed buff invade instead of forcing the issue down mid lane, but it's going to be an engage onto Venenu with Skeeledon in the mix, not connecting on the brutalize, so Venenu casually walking into tower.
Ocean's here looking for his first try in lane against the Hunter. Not going to take it as he runs away. So Allegiance here looking for their bounce back. Weaken suffered a very poor early game, able to sort of make something happen here. Mercury, it's been a while since we've seen him. He has trouble in the late game. Honestly, special delivery just makes him too vulnerable to anything else. As soon as he hits somebody with the pull, he winds up getting absolutely smoked. So Mercury wants to find this sort of in-between. You can see already building into the crit. That's where he's really looking for. Winged Blade sort of forced out because of how much trouble he was in, and now he's going to start building into this critical strike. Third item or fourth item is where Mercury's really going to make his mark.
And the thing about that, you mentioned the special delivery, he has to be so patient using that because there's too much disruption on the side of EnVyUs between Kiki with the Clay Golem stun, and then you have PolarBearMike that can not only stun, but find the root. So you have to be able to land the perfect ultimate if you're Weakened just to set up stealth, and then find maybe a cleanup with your special delivery.
A lot of aggression still out of Venenu. Ocean's unable to really find it in this lane. He's building into the lifesteal, however. Venenu not. So, should have come down to a boxing match. Actually, lifesteal versus the Ichabal. Who wins?
I would say that it's going to be dependent on if you're a short engage versus longer engage in team fights or not. It's going to favor Venenu if they're going for the burst potential, but they have Incon on Guan for the sustain anyway.
Yeah, the first invade comes out of Allegiance. Able to strip away the red buff from Envy. Just a quick okie doke play. Allegiance wrap around, take it, and leave just as quickly as they came, putting the red buff onto Venenu.
And Goldfury is going to respawn in 30 seconds. CycloneSpin doing a good job proxying the wave. He's going to be able to out-rotate Ymir, even without teleport. The eagle form against the Ymir that has no natural movement speed.
Yeah, I mean, Ymir, one of those. We were talking on the last cast about how mobile Ymir is. He's also one of the slower movement speeds in the game, believe it or not. You see that number down by the where is it? It's the foot for the movement speed or something on the left-hand side of your screen. The movement speed for Ymir is one of the slower ones.
Which is why sometimes a lot of Ymirs will opt to go for a winged blade, trying to be able to get in position for the freeze, for the carpets that they need to, especially with the slows on the side of EnVyUs. CycloneSpin can always slow Cope anytime he really wants to.
Cope gonna head back to base here. He's in trouble and he knows it, but he's got the boots and the breastplate online. Now is really where the solo and Ymir starts to make the impact. Teleport as well. Both players will be able to be here, but MLC Stealth with the Kukulkan ultimate Legions have a very strong grip on the Gold Fury. Solo laners will start rotating. CycloneSpin on the backside. Legions have to be careful of that.
Cope rotating, forcing the jump out of Ocean. Still can look for a freeze, but CycloneSpin's on the opposite end of it. Nice little route by PBM, but no follow-up. You don't really want to engage all your abilities on this level 13 Ymir.
Everybody's still waiting. Ocean's going to head back to lane to make sure this wave doesn't go to waste, while the rest of his team sort of watches the Gold Fury. And everybody's going to leave, actually. Small little rotation out of Legion sends them back home. Incon in a little bit of trouble. Forced into the ultimate. Cope with a beautiful wall, but everybody's going to look at CycloneSpin. Stunned and alone all the way in the back. Knocked up. Can't even get the ultimate off. Weekend finds enough. Kill number 2. Aggression again onto Cope. He's going to fall down, and the ultimate out of Weekend is enough to set up Stealth to find another one. Still damaged. The Sanctuary going to be used for the mid laner to save his life, but Ocean's able to kill down MLC Stealth. Weekend still finds an exit. Venenu takes out KikiSoCheeky, and Ocean's in a lot of trouble. Nice jump over the wall. He should be fine.
I don't think they're done, though. Venenu could potentially chase this. They got a 3-for-2 in Allegiance's favor. They have a little bit of sustain onto Incon, but he's running out of mana. They don't have much secure, so I don't really like this option to go for the Gold Fury. But the way that fight started was beautiful, going on to CycloneSpin. Being able to knock him up with Stealth's ultimate, he had no time to go into the clouds. Yeah. And that was the key factor to Legions coming out on top.
Weekend's going to take that and go for the speed buff invade. Again, if his team can't get the Gold Fury, they can at least get something. The invade is going to happen because of it. Legion's making the right plays. Up just a little bit. You're talking about 1,000 gold here. Just very little separating these two teams. But the way that they're getting these is just little by little. 2 invades now, just separately, fighting them here and there.
Skeeledon, though, he recognizes Weekend invaded the speed buff, so he's going to try to take advantage of the fact that Weekend doesn't have his ultimate, he's low on mana, and his health pool is not all the way filled.
There's the jump, and Skeeledon able to secure it.
Speed for speed, and it seems that it was a great zoning by CycloneSpin, not allowing Cope to make the rotation to protect the own speed. So now Weekend, he still has to be careful because he doesn't have much mana if a teamfight were to break out.
And that's going to be problematic for him on the right side, but Legion's able to take out these Furies themselves. Cope looking for Cyclone in the solo lane.
Cope doing a good job poking out Cyclone at this point. Pestilence has been finished, so he does have the magical defense. He has his ultimate with the meditate, but Skeeledon looking for the engage. Great counter ulti by Cope.
This is one of the better games we've seen out of Cope, in all honesty. Cope, a rookie here in the fall split, has had a lot of trouble, I think, really warming up and finding himself and finding success at the same time. Here on this Ymir play against CycloneSpin, one of his better performances.
Already Allegiance yet again going to force out the Gold Fury without the Ragnarok to worry about. Kiki going to get slowed, but missing the ultimate. Weekend on the side, and now Venenu getting stunned by Oceans.
And PBM going to chase down MLC Stealth. Ultimate in reflex hits nobody. EnVyUs going to help out just a little bit, and Allegiance will be safe on the retreat.
CycloneSpin making the rotation with his teleport, whereas Cope still having his zone. After proxying the wave, he's going to be looking for it. A nice little meditation, and CycloneSpin still zoning.
Gold Fury down 25%. Kukulkan ultimate not available, and the Gold Fury very low. Still, here's the aggression out of Envy. Gold Fury goes down, Allegiance are able to take it, and that's going to be another one for Allegiance. Hot steel coming out of the guys.
Great job by Incon. However, Skeeledon able to find the kill onto Stealth, and it looks like Incon's in a lot of trouble. This should be the second one for Envy, and they could be able to get more than just a tier 1 tower.
Yeah, Incon's still alive for the moment. Gold Fury goes down, and that'll be the death of Incon. Venenu finds himself in the wrong spot and has to wrap around. Gold Fury gets stolen away by Allegiance, but the lives of 3 members of ALG are taken away by Envy. Still, Allegiance have the lead for now. We could get a split push. That's a good call.
This could be a Phoenix. They're going to have the Nuwa Clay Golems, although they don't have much of a wave. At this point, level 16 Hu Yi. It's a little ambitious to try to go for it, but they're able to stabilize after losing the Gold Fury. And now CycloneSpin's not done. He wants blood, but nice little dash from Weekend should be safe.
For the moment. I feel like this entire game hinges on that statement.
The decoy stopped the back, and look at this. Skeeledon is coming around the corner to try to take advantage. No mana with the Terra ultimate. Skeeledon cleaning up Weekend.
The decoy stopped the back. That's
calculated.
No.
Calculated.
Absolutely not. All right, fine.
calculated.
That's just unfortunate for Wukong.
He would have been fine if he kept running into the tier 2 tower,
Yeah.
but you never expect the decoy to get there in time.
That's
You're a
what I'm saying.
Mercury with Winged Blade. I'm not sure if he had speed buff there or not, but I thought that he would be able to outrun the decoy anyway. But Skeeledon recognizing Wukong always likes to stay for that one more wave. He got the tower on right-hand side during that split push in middle by EnVyUs after losing the Gold Fury. So overall, still doing a good job getting another objective.
And Skeeledon going to steal the second speed buff in a row away from Wukong. Just punishing him. Wukong took one, Skeeledon takes two. Again, Skeeledon sticking on the positive side. This player, just like we were talking about Cope, this player had a lot of trouble sort of coming into himself, into the SPL, but Skeeledon finally able to really make something happen, not just in this game, for a number of weeks for the moment, really able to help his team.
Both of these teams were struggling at first, and that's why they were able to they were losing a couple of games to start off until they really found themselves, and like you mentioned before, Skeeledon found his own identity, Cope finding his own as well, and these teams are just so evenly matched. We were talking about it before the game. They have their mindsets in a book. Like, they could just read each other so well and taking advantage of every little maneuver.
It's a lot of fun watching these teams go at it, man. Almost 20 on the clock. Envy now on the back foot as the Legion start to push up on this tier 1 tower.
They're trying to be able to force the issue because they have the sustain from Incon, but on the flip side, they have this obelisk from PolarBearMike that is good offensively and defensively.
It's a great deterrent. You put it down and you just dare somebody to walk in and get rooted. Wukong whiffs the ultimate and now he's in trouble. Has to dash away after losing half of his HP. CycloneSpin dives and going to get caught out by the rest of the team. He's by himself behind enemy lines and Skeeledon trying to help out. CycloneSpin ultimate going to be used. Allegiance on the retreat.
Stealth still has his ultimate, and this is going to be the saving grace for Allegiance. Incon's going to go in, forcing out the Nua ultimate. This could be a time where the ultimate comes out from Stealth.
Skeeledon looking for the backline kill, can't find it. Stealth drops the ultimate in defense. And Skeeledon low, Kiki low, Kiki dead. Venenu picks it up. There's the jump forward from Oceans. Gets the kill onto Venenu. Still gets the kill, but dies against Cope. PolarBearMike able to take down Stealth.
And now with the ultimate from Cope being down, Skeeledon's looking for the right timing just to jump in. PBM taking a lot of poke from Wukong, and both of these teams disengaging now after a long fought. Everything in the dust, 2 for 2 at the end.
At the end of it, Envy still going to be about even.
These teams, man, I'm telling you, they're just so much in each other's head. They both have every tool that they need between setting up their mid laners, right? Skeeledon can set up Kiki, Wukong can set up Stealth. They both have sustain between PBM and Incon. We saw Venenu dive in, and then Oceans in return sacrificing himself for another kill.
Theoretically, Wukong can set up Stealth, but we've seen 2 ultimates just off the mark in a row. That's going to be an issue. Wukong needs to find accuracy on these ultimates.
He came in from the side, unfortunately for Wukong. It was just a great separation of all of EnVyUs. I think they heard him channel his ultimate from the side,
yeah,
and then they turned their heads, and then they just split like the Red Sea.
Yep, just right down the middle. Unfortunate for Wukong here in our 20th minute. Now teams heading over to the left-hand side. Gold Fury about to spawn very soon, and everybody's well aware. So PolarBearMike going to take a peek, see who's around, and that'll let us know just how vulnerable this Gold Fury is going to be.
And I love the fact that neither of these teams went for Wrath, honestly. You're looking for these team-fighting relics. You have so much damage from Stealth that you have to get a shell to try to respond to it, which also limiting the healing from both these squads forces both of these supports into the curse right off the bat. So there's no sprints on either side, but it's not really going to matter when you have this much sustain. You can always disengage safely.
For sure. Envy now left side, looking for aggression onto the tower. Could just be a push out, but there's Skeeledon very deep behind the tower. Gets chased out thanks to Incon.
I like the mindset though from Skeeledon, looking for the gank potential play, because if Venenu didn't have any teammates close by, that would have been a free pick for EnVyUs very quickly.
And we've seen that play be successful across the board a lot. But I like that, again, reading each other's books. Incon able to know that Skeeledon's going to look for that and deter him by walking out and just hitting Tallow Assault.
This is where the lifesteal will come into a factor, with Venenu not having any sort, relying on Incon's heal, but a great job though. We saw the interception. The ultimate from Stealth though, not on the mark. However, PBM forced to reset. He's very low.
Yeah, it was a very strange ultimate at MLC Stealth. Couple we've seen him pressured into and had to pull the trigger. That one just a little bit off.
Has to be a little bit more patient, waiting for the right setup. You're relying on Weekend, but Incon is going in.
And there's going to be the ultimate out of everybody. And PolarBearMike finds his own death thanks to MLC Stealth and everybody on the side of Allegiance. Skeeledon jumping in, finding the Ragnarok right in the middle of Oceans' Suns. And that's going to send Allegiance different ways. Cope by himself finds a nice stun on the Skeely, who uses Purification in response. Trouble for Weekend on the backside. And there's half of HP gone. Oceans just gets annihilated. And Venenu looking for the last hit. One more will do it on Oceans. Can't find it just yet. Weekend does on the other side, and that's going to be trouble for Kiki, who finds a route. Sanctuary going to protect the big burst, and MLC Stealth able to win the mage fight.
Beautiful play from Allegiance, 3 for nothing. PBM respawning, but they're not done yet. They're going to be able to find Skeeledon. Great job by Stealth, forcing both of those escapes, but without the tornado or the gust, he has to be careful.
He has no Sanctuary either. He used it against Kiki, so that's going to be trouble for the dog. MLC Stealth finds the burst damage. Takes out the jungler. 4 for none there.
Stealth is feeling very confident right now, being able to land those hits right now. We saw it on the clouded Nuwa onto the speed buffed Skeeledon right now, just confirming all these hits, finding that ultimate earlier on in the game. And now this is where Allegiance is going to start snowballing and rolling really hard because of the fact that they have the sustain on Incon.
First big real lead of the game here, folks. Allegiance, well, it's 11-11. Make a wish. Allegiance certainly got their wish granted. 4,300 gold in the lead. It's been neck and neck up until this point. And like Totally just mentioned, this is the point where Allegiance are going to look to really snowball. And with characters like Guan Yu and Jing they really enable that push of the lead. Once you get a lead, these characters are really able to make it happen. Guan Yu could just increase the sustain that he brings to the team, and the Jing is able to, even if she gets knocked out of the fight, respond and come right on back. These two characters are very strong at keeping a lead and keeping it pushing forward.
And with Weekend having Deathbringer, he's going to be able to do massive amounts of damage onto Kiki or Oceans. Once these Sanctuaries are down, it's still about 60 more seconds for Kiki's. This could be a good opportunity for Weekend to look for another easy pick.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the bigger things about the differences in team. What was different about that last team fight versus the team fights beforehand for Allegiance? The fact that Mercury had the Deathbringer. A lot more player damage came out from him specifically with that one, and you could just see how incredible that was. Weekend takes a bunch of gold to the bank and finishes both an Aussie and a Wind Demon.
Selling off his starter item. Nice little blink engage onto PBM. Going to force out his ultimate and a lot of damage, but he's just going to walk away. And the rest of CycloneSpin and Oceans trying to find any sort of poke in return.
Pretty sloppy fight from Allegiance here, in all honesty. Can't really find a target. Nothing really being used. Meanwhile, left side, jungler battle. Ultimate of Skeely already used. Weekend's going to take this fight. We know him. Still looking for the ult. Skeely looking for the jump. Couple of hits. Ooh, that's that late game Mercury right there.
The patience though from Weekend, not pulling the trigger with his ultimate, still forcing out the Sanctuary. This means that it's going to allow
Why
Allegiance.
did Weekend ult?
It's going to buy him time. There's no reason for him to.
What was that Weekend ult?
He's coming from behind. This is what he wants to do. Distract all of EnVyUs with Incon going in.
But Weekend already ulted. That's rough. Incon ults right on top of the players. Gets the tier 2 tower. Weekend ultimate out of Mercury right here would have been perfect. But he ulted in the jungle. Instead, Allegiance still going to push forward. And we'll see ult is going to be off the mark completely. Envy playing good defense by just not getting hit.
Great eagle form from CycloneSpin, being able to barely turn that corner, avoiding the dragon from MLC Stealth. Not going to connect with the gust, but still looking for a nice little wall. Ocean's barely able to squeeze by that one.
Nice stun. Very end of the cone for Ymir, able to catch out Oceans at the tail end of it. Skeeledon going to get pressured out. Keep an eye on Kiki. Kiki's on the backside, not doing anything. Trouble for EnVyUs. And there's going to be Allegiance aggressing up the mid lane.
Just great job. Still having all the purifications is Allegiance. We saw the Ragnarok trying to pull, but Incon, he's going to be able to zone away as the rest of the members are going for this mid Phoenix.
And it's going to be aggressed 50% on the Firebird itself. Allegiance still fighting the good fight. Nice stun on the PBM. Follow-up damage, but Cope is going to get smoked out by CycloneSpin. Mid lane Phoenix does fall. You trade out a solo and Ymir for mid Phoenix. I'll take it.
This is very important for Allegiance to disengage cleanly. They cannot afford to lose any more casualties because this could open the door for EnVyUs to squeeze in a Fire Giant. There's not much mana on the side of Weekend, so Stealth, he needs to consistently hit these slows to prevent CycloneSpin from chasing him down.
Weekend should be fine though. Still wrapping around. I don't know about this one.
I mean, he knows for a fact that EnVyUs wants to force this Fire Giant. They have a 5-on-4 power play for another 30 seconds, and it looks like Allegiance don't really want to contest this. They have Stealth's ultimate available.
Hey, they're here, they're local, and here comes MLC Stealth dropping the tornado. It's going to be a gamble. Fire Giant going down. It's all Allegiance. ALG take the objective. Oceans takes out Venenu, however. They trade out one. MLC Stealth in a lot of trouble. Got to drop the tornado on top of Cyclone, who uses the ult and the Sanctuary. MLC under his own tower. Cyclone still able to find the kill.
They're able to disengage, though. Weekend pushing out mid. There's going to be a fire wave hitting that Titan, so EnVyUs have to respond pretty quickly. So losing Venenu and Stealth, though, but able to strip away the Fire Giant from EnVyUs. Still has the mid Phoenix down, so a good advantage for Allegiance in the next 3.5 minutes.
Trouble, trouble, trouble for Envy. Everything that they've tried to start. Skeeledon got off to a great start, and the early game was all theirs. But since then, I feel like everything Envy has tried to do has been taken away from them. I mean, not even sort of like underhandedly, too. Like, that was a tornado that stole the Fire Giant.
And I think that one Gold Fury was Incon on Guan Yu being able to dash secure the Gold Fury the second time around.
Yeah, I mean, just the tiniest of tiny. Weekend gets away with the hot ultimate, and there's a lot of players just all dogpiling on top of Incon. Still, able to dash through, get a little bit of a heal, and the Guan Yu should be fine. Cope now, the one getting dogpiled. Hot wall, but still two players chasing him out. Make that turnaround. Cope's gonna get picked out.
This is the one issue with late game Ymir, and now Incon's just driving by with his cavalry charge like, nope, can't do anything here. Sorry, boss.
He started that ult when Cope was alive. As soon as he dies, he just keeps on pushing forward. That's kind of funny looking.
Weekend's pushing down mid. This could have been a nice idea to try to end the game, but he's going to try to defend the mid Phoenix instead. I like the idea, either which way he took it, because now it's going to be a 4-on-5 defense, which should be in Allegiance's favor, considering they still have Fire Giant on Weekend late game form. With this Deathbringer, Wind Demon, he's going to be able to really 2 to 3 shot Kiki or Oceans if he can find those hits.
See, Weekend was pushing up that mid tower. Did he have the, I'm not sure if he had the Titan's Bane Mark II there. If he did, I think he still pushes. If he doesn't, he backs to go ahead and pick it up and play defense. Envy gonna go ahead and start the left-hand tier 1 tower, taking it out. MLC zoning a little bit.
Venenu just back into base.
Skeely.
He's in the back. He's trying to find somebody. Gets spotted out by Venenu, and Weekend's from the backhand side. Gonna force out the purification.
Hot bonus out of the Jing ultimate, or passive rather, being able to see the players on the way up.
And that's going to allow Cope to find this rotation. Not good enough on the walls. PBM's going to squeeze on by that. Still on the chase, though. Allegiance going to rely on the ultimate, preferably with Weekend.
Oceans will go ahead and back to base. And everybody from ALG on the charge. Entire team grouped up here on the left-hand side. Weekend going to lurk in the jungle alongside the Ymir. Three players, MLC, Venenu, and Incon, going to look towards the tower. There's a good press forward, and this should be a free tier 2. Nobody really going to make a big deal about it until now. Teleport in. We can find Skeeledon on the backside. No flank from the jungle. Teleporting in, but tower goes down anyway. The lead is able to keep up the pressure.
Weekend was thinking about using his ultimate down the left-hand side, and now with the mid-Phoenix respawning, there's still one more fire wave that Allegiance has down middle, and that's exactly where they're going to. Weekend leading the charge with Venenu right behind him.
There's a dash away from Weekend. Doesn't want to get hit from any of the nonsense at a PBM. And Allegiance now poised to start another fight. Incon and Weekend still have the Fire Giant on their hands, so Weekend will certainly be looking for the Phoenix. Nice zoning ultimate out of Ocean's going to keep Allegiance at bay, or at least that was the game plan. Not actually going to go down like that. Skeeledon finds the ultimate onto Cove, who drops his own ultimate. Nice damage, but likely going to get traded out. Phoenix falls.
He's still alive.
He finds a great wall. And the jump out of Skeeledon, he'll die. But again, the Phoenix goes down.
Venenu solo, trying to kite, gonna be able to get stunned out, but using the ultimate through the wall. Meanwhile, Cope gonna fall on the left-hand side, and now Skeeledon making a decision, sticking on Incon instead of Stealth.
That was a very important play. Coming out from Oceans, able to actually find Cope. We knew he was dead, it was just a matter of how. MLC going to escape here.
Oh, not connecting on the ultimate onto CycloneSpin, and Weekend was in mid lane the whole time around. He didn't want any sort of action there. His ultimate was on cooldown, so now yet again, EnVyUs on top of this team fight, but they lost their mid Phoenix.
So now Allegiance looking for the play here. On defense, Envy will take this Phoenix relatively for free. Venenu going to get sunned out twice. That'll Firebird for Firebird. So Fire Minions will be at an impasse here in the mid lane.
Weekend, though, on the right-hand side, CycloneSpin being able to teleport to make sure the rest of his team escapes safely. The speed buff Mercury is always a threat to find somebody lingering around for that lazy back. And we saw the way that last teamfight engaged. Incon zoning with his ultimate, and then we saw Cope being pulled in, which allowed the rest of EnVyUs this late game damage between Yi, Nua, Terra lockdown, just to be able to chunk him down.
Fire Giant started up by ALG. Wicked's got a lot of damage on himself. Oceans is going to be aware. Oceans alone shouldn't be enough to deter, even with the Suns.
Not at all. We do have Stealth, though. He's not in position to confirm it, though. That's the reason why Allegiance are respecting it. However, Envy is picking it back up, and now this could be an engage.
Again, Fire Giant goes to anybody. Going to be leashed. Skeeledon in trouble. Sanctuary saves his life. Weekend chased out as well. Now the jungler available. There's the hit from Nua, and CycloneSpin finds the kill on the back.
Weekend was trying to get in position to get healed up, but that allowed Cyclone to cut the distance, and now Kiki trying to juke out, misses the slow onto Stealth, and now still engaging off of the ulti from Cope.
Cope does well, but again, Cope gonna get very close to death. Kiki able to finally find the kill.
That was actually a really solid wall. It's just so unfortunate that the Shining Metal does land through the wall anyway. Cope taking a spill. Now it's going to be a 5-on-3 in EnVyUs' favor. They have the ultimate from Stealth, but CycloneSpin, he needs to be able to zone effectively here.
Everybody at Envy are zoning. The second that anybody from Elite step too far, you see the Fire Giant gets leashed out. Ultimate used by MLC Stealth. That's what Envy were looking for. Now the full-on commit from Envy onto ALG. Nice stun into death for MLC Stealth. Oceans on the good side of that one. And Envy are gonna, well, look towards the back Harpies and then likely pressure the Fire Giant. They were waiting for that Stealth ultimate.
Just a great job diving him all in, making him not in a comfortable position to throw out the ultimate. We saw him very accurate when he has the front line available. We have Weekend and Incon zoning, right? Then Cope has that presence to peel as well. This gives a lot of time for Stealth to aim those abilities, but whenever you're diving him, 4, 5 man, he has to throw out that ultimate before he dies to allow the rest of his team to clean up.
And that was the pressure from Envy. You see, they didn't want to start that. They didn't want to hard commit every single thing like I was telling you before. Everything that they've started has kind of been taken away from them. They said, not this time. We're going to kill that damn dragon. That's exactly what they do. Envy now still trailing, but they've got the Fire Giant, so that gives them sort of the de facto lead. PolarBearMike now going to take a look at the Gold Fury.
Despite having Fire Giant, though, Allegiance, you can never count them out with this composition. The burst damage between Weekend and Stealth can easily wipe Oceans and Kiki off the map.
I mean, Weekend will surprise somebody in the jungle and just take them out very quickly.
With that build, Deathbringer, Titan's Bane, Wind Demon, having Wing Blade just to limit some of the slow potential, it's going to force a spot where Kiki's going to have to probably ulti if he's ever in a tricky spot, but with that burst damage from Weekend, he might not even have time to get in the air. That's the
big key. Weekend's at this point, he's got the Titan's Bane, 2 crit items, and an Aussie for good measure. He's basically going to dash into you and then land 2 of the 804 on a Harpy. Like, that's going to happen to a player.
And that's without speed buff and without his sprint being procced.
That too. Big damage coming out of this Mercury. And this is what we were talking about. He's extremely item dependent, but once he gets those items online, very, very scary.
Now the rest of EnVyUs, they're grouping up on the left-hand side. They want to be able to get the better Phoenix. Both mid-Phoenixes are now respawning. EnVyUs was first, so they don't really have to worry about the counter push from Allegiance.
Not just yet. Still, Envy going to start on the left side with just Skeeledon, able to just sort of bark down that tower very quickly. And the rest of the guys in the mid lane starting their push. It's going to be a 4-on-1. Skeeledon going to push on the left-hand side by his lonesome. And he'll be answered by Weekend. The rest of the 4 will be in the mid lane.
It's a waiting game because Allegiance has a great defense mechanism with the tornadoes coming out of Stealth, being able to clear the waves every single time. And now the engage, though, Terra finding it, but a nice purification from Oceans preventing Weekend.
And a nice ultimate out of Weekend grabs 2, and there's the follow-up damage out of ALG. Can't find the kill just yet on the CycloneSpin. Barely gets to the ultimate alive. Weekend 25% forced out of the fight. He'll go back to base and heal up. Cope in some trouble. Has half HP. MLC completely whiffs on the ultimate. Nua, well, she can't. That's going to hit a bunch of players. And Ocean's trouble for him. Not too much sustain outside of the Fire Giant and the Terra. So right now, EnVy are going to sort of sit and just hang out on this obelisk, heal up, and they'll have a ton of sustain.
Nice little meditation just to keep on going from CycloneSpin. And yet again, just not enough patience on the side of Stealth's ultimate, though. But nice little blink engage. There is no purification.
That's going to go ahead and just annihilate the members of EnVy. No more dual lane as quickly as they came. And Cope able to smoke him out. Venenu finds kill number 3. This could be it.
That's game. That's definitely game. CycloneSpin got frozen. Tornado, the gust, the knockup. He has nowhere to go. He's trying to Ox from away, but Venenu with a Fatalis gonna secure that kill. That's 4 dead. Only Skeeledon alive to defend against all 5 from Allegiance.
60 seconds on everybody from EnVy. And Allegiance gonna walk down the middle lane. Weekend wearing the Team Envious Mercury skin that he earned. Gonna walk down middle lane, bonk down this Phoenix, and take the Titan for the win.
Just great play from Allegiance. That's what you have to respect, is the threat between Stealth and Weekend right now, just doing work.
Just wonderful. Oh man, that, you know, we saw a lot of these engagements come out. 2, 6, and 8 on Cope. We saw a lot of these engagements come out. Cope, you can look at that slash line. This is why I hate looking at slash lines as a determination of how well a player did. 2, 6, and 8 for the solo lane Ymir. Not the strongest, not the greatest of slash lines, right? Every single Phoenix push, Cope dies, 4 players run away. That's totally fine. That's his job as a solo laner most of the time. And then the game-winning play, blink freeze, everybody piles onto the duo lane, see the support and the hunter fall, and then the follow-up, the snowball of the team fight. Cope was such an important aspect of that game. And to go from, like I said, he was a rookie. He's a rookie this fall split. He's had trouble really finding success. And this game, just what an impact he made.
That's just what you really want out of your solo laner right now. Sacrificing himself for the better objectives, finding the mid Phoenixes, and then the end game winning play. Regardless of what Guardian he was, he picked Ymir for a reason. Last pick into a Fenrir some Wukong matchup, which could easily exploit him for being so immobile. We saw the Terra, the Nua, finding the roots onto the Ymir. He had nowhere to go in these objectives, but it didn't matter because he was still confident enough to make that play at the end.
And he was able to make some small individual plays. We saw Hot Ultimate when he was getting Ragnarok on the right-hand side right in time. Some good walls, some great freezes, and of course, the game-winning play towards the end, certainly brought to you by Cope. We'll get it.